Hey, business building warrior, short episode today, but I've got a guest that I want to introduce you to. They've built about $1 million a year business. It's just them and their family, Scott and Wendy and their family, their kids helping the business. They're selling on multiple platforms. They actually heard about this podcast and the Proven Amazon course from a homeschool convention that they attended, and they were talking about it. And they jumped in and they built a beautiful business. Get this, they're both economists. So they understand the world of money and how it moves and how our economy is doing. It was pretty cool sharing a few minutes with them. And maybe we'll bring them back and dive in further some other time. But today we only had time for a short episode. But it was very valuable, time well spent. For me, I learned a couple things and we swapped even some good book ideas. But like I said, they've built a great business at 20% net margin, $1 million business, which is pretty impressive using the models that we teach around here. They're into Walmart, eBay's, doing some private label. They've built some really cool things, but they're also launching a prep center. What's a prep center? If you don't know, that simply means you send your inventory somewhere else besides your front porch when you order things online. And that prep center gets your stuff ready to send into Amazon for you. It's what all of our international students use. If you weren't aware, we have students all over the world who follow the Amazon trainings that we have around here. The Proven Amazon course is a universal course. If you buy inventory, let's say you live in a country outside the US and you want to buy and sell inventory in the US, well, you can. We step you through it. We help you get set up. But one of the things you're going to need is a prep center. Or let's say you have a smaller house or you live in an apartment or you're just tired of handling the prepping. We have a list at prepcenternetwork.com of many great prep centers, but these guys are one of the latest and they have a big advantage. They're in a tax-free state. New Hampshire has no sales taxes. That means if you're shopping online, instead of paying the 7 or the 8 or the 11% tax that goes with your product purchases, you could be paying 0% sales tax and having your products sent to taxfreeprep.net. That's the prep center that we're going to meet in just a moment. So these guys are pretty cool. They've got a rocking 7-figure business at a great net profit margin. They're doing it with their family. They're starting a prep center. They share they've bought a nice big house with a nice kind of attached area warehouse type thing on the property where they can just run the whole thing. They're going to be a little picky about what clients they pick. They want to make sure they can serve the clients that they work with very, very well. But I think you're going to want to meet these guys after this. And I hope you do reach out to them. Again, the website, taxfreeprep.net. Let's meet Scott and Wendy right now. So Scott and Wendy, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be here.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
Great to meet you.
I appreciate your sponsorship, but I want to get to know you guys a little bit. We've never really chatted much before, so let's dive in. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about your story, how you got started on Amazon.
Absolutely. We come from probably an unusual background. Wendy and I are both trained economists. Went to George Mason outside of Washington, D.C. And of course, early on, we got trapped in the D.C. orbit, if you will, working for various nonprofits, both at the national and eventually the state level, which is what allowed us, fortunately, to escape the D.C. orbit. We moved to New England. We now reside in New Hampshire, the live free or die state. And we're here by choice. Because I'm a tax economist, I've done a lot of research on New Hampshire's tax structure. We originally were in Maine. We were like, oh, we got to move to New Hampshire and save on taxes. So we thank the state of Maine for paying for our house here. But, we have one of the main reasons for getting out of DC, though, was our children. We started having a family. We had 3 at the time. We knew we couldn't stay in a big city like that. We wanted more. We now have 5 children. Ranging from the age of 19 all the way down to 6. And they were getting older. As they were getting older, we realized, we're going to teach our kids to fish too, right? And
Yep.
we spent a long time in school, to get our education and to get our jobs. And we're like, we need to do something else for our children. We homeschooled them. We were at a homeschool conference. That's where we heard about you, Jim, and what you were doing. And we're like, this would be really good for our children. And so we got on the coaching. Boss Jose was our coach early on, and we just hit the ground running. And we grew really fast in that short time period, and that's when we realized we could make this work. And we've been growing ever since.
That's fantastic. Well, give me some numbers from your business if you don't mind. I'm not sure what you're prepared to share with me, but how is the Amazon selling side of your business going?
Well, it's been going great, and we've been diversifying. We can talk about that later, but we do roughly $1 million a year, about a 20% net margin across all of our platforms.
And since you're both economists, I'm assuming those numbers are pretty spot on. That's awesome. I'd forgotten you guys are both economists. Fascinating. I'd probably talk offline with you guys for hours. And I love the topic of economics. One of the things that stands out to me, for example, and you guys may be aware of this, or maybe I'm about to teach economists something they don't know about their own field. I don't know. But originally, when the study of economics was taught in the United States at major universities, most of which were founded originally as institutes of spiritual study, right? Bible colleges. The economics department it wasn't one of the mathematical science. It was in more of the religious studies, the study of human behavior, right? Were you guys familiar with that? Yeah, exactly. Well, Adam Smith wrote the theory of moral sentiments along with the wealth of nations. That's right. That's right. I reference Adam Smith frequently. I want to read The Wealth of Nations. I reference segments of it from time to time. But absolutely, yeah. So you guys know your field, obviously. But yeah, it's more of a study of human behavior than it is of any kind of scientific, measurement of precise processes, right? Right. But fascinating stuff, perhaps for another time. But so you guys mentioned that this is family business for you guys. You homeschooled, you're getting your kids involved. Like, I know how I would answer this question, but why is that an important thing for you guys? What was your thought process there?
Well, I think that we, in our nonprofit world, where we spent most of our careers as economists, we were used to being on the other side of the table from wealthy individuals trying to fundraise. And, it didn't take us long to realize that, they're great people. They're amazing people. They have amazing lives. A lot of the people that we met with, they had family businesses, legacy of family wealth. And, we wanted to be on the other side of the table eventually, where, we had people asking us for investments and us for funds, just because we knew that, the path to building wealth for your family and a legacy for your family lies in building your own business. That's the only way to do it. And we wanted to do that for so long. We just didn't know how to do it, what to do.
We thought we could do it in the nonprofit world, but we've ran actually several state-based and even national-based think tanks. And what we realized is you actually don't run it. The board of directors does. So you still have a job. Even if you're CEO of a nonprofit, you still have a job. You're working for the board. Right. And that's where we realized, no, we've got to go and do our own business.
Your kids can never replace you as the CEO. Right. Your kids can't. You're not teaching them how to fish, how to do anything that they can take forward for themselves in their own lives if you're a CEO of a think tank or private, corporation.
Gotcha. So you saw entrepreneurship. And if I seem to, I recall, I think it was in the book, The Millionaire Next Door. I can't remember for sure. I remember Dave Ramsey referencing some statistics though about, to support what you guys just said. You look at the generational wealth, the families, it's all businesses. It's people who own businesses. A lot of times when you think rich people, you think, okay, well, an athlete or an actor or somebody who won the lottery, or you add all those together. And that's a tiny, tiny fraction of the people who are actually financially independent, right? And you guys may know the statistics better than I do, but the vast majority of the people who find themselves in financially secure positions and independently wealthy are business owners, like you said. So you guys saw that as your path.
Absolutely.
So how does your training as an economist influence your thinking here? Have you connected the worlds? Has that given you an advantage of some kind, or it changed the way you see the world of internet opportunity, business strategy?
It definitely has changed how we view. It's ironic, as trained economists, they don't actually train you to run a business, which is one of the great ironies. But one of the key concepts that we've had drilled into our brains is diversification, right? In economics, diversification is a key driver of the economy. And so we've been implementing that in a multitude of ways in our business. The first way is we're not a single platform. We sell on both Amazon and Walmart, for example, in the US and in Canada. We also have our own Shopify site, and we sell a little bit on, even dabble a little bit on eBay. And we also diversified our sourcing strategies. We obviously started with RA, OA. We still do that today, but we branched out into wholesale. And most recently, we're really trying to ramp up private label with our own brand as well. And now we really want to focus on diversifying multiple streams of income, as you like to talk a lot about. Obviously, the prep center is one of the new areas that we're going to be branching out in and building an income stream with. And then we also invest in bank on yourself plans with our agent, Mark Willis, who will enable us to eventually be able to fund our own business. And that's what we're excited about with that. So by having all these multiple streams of income and being well diversified, as we're seeing with the economy right now, we've definitely seen how the shaky economy impacts all these various moving pieces, and it provides stability.
Fantastic answers, guys. And I'm curious, this isn't a question you guys are necessarily prepared for, and I want to hit the stuff we're planning to cover today, but you are both economists. So I guess sometimes you guys are expected to project a little bit, and, as good as anyone else might be able to, with hopefully a little more accuracy. But how do you guys process? Obviously, you've chosen for your family to get into e-commerce, specifically Amazon, specifically the models we teach around here, having weighed all of the options that are available to you. Is this something you're encouraging your other friends to look into, the multiple income stream, e-commerce? Like, if you're giving someone advice and they're saying, hey, things look a little scary, like, talk me through it. I'm that friend. It's like, hey, I'm open to starting a business online. You guys see this as viable, or is it a special skill set that maybe you guys were particularly positioned well for this? How universal is this? This is another way for me to say the same thing. You think that we're really onto something here? Do you see some stability here?
Oh, we're definitely, when we talk about it, we think everybody should be doing it, because especially family-run businesses. Because this is one of the things we love about this industry. It's one of the few things where families can work together on it. I mean, all of our children from 19 to 6, even our 6-year-old has a job in our business. And, one of the things in economics that we learned is there's the biggest shortage in the economy is entrepreneurship. And the best way to incubate entrepreneurship is within a family environment, is our belief. And so we know lots of large families up here where we live in New Hampshire, and we would love to see them all working as a single economic unit together and in the boat rowing together. And that's how you get economic stability too, is because, when everybody's running in different directions in their own jobs and everything and harried, that's where you get a lot more stresses, economic stressors, I believe, in the household. You have to maintain your cars, you have to maintain your household, you have to maintain all these costs, all these different costs eat away at your budget. But when you all are working together on the same path, it actually saves money and allows you to build a more efficient, durable business, we believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the themes you're hitting on there. By any chance, have you read or heard of Josh Tolley's book, Evangelpreneur?
Yes. It's an incredible book.
You like it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd recommend
good stuff, right?
Yeah, good
just
stuff.
On that theme. And okay, so here's another resource, and we'll unpack these just a little bit if you guys have the time. But the other one is Rabbi Daniel Lapin. You hear me reference him all the time. Mm-hmm. He has a program called The Gathering Storm. Have you heard of it?
I've heard you speak about it. I'm not familiar with them. Yeah.
You guys should check it out, because it basically really reinforces, again, regardless of worldview. This is a podcast, I'm a Christian and Christians are comfortable around here, but we've got plenty of different worldviews around here, but there's some wisdom that can be pulled from the best-selling book in world history. There's a reason we built Western civilization based on the ideas in this book. It works. And one of the lessons that the Hebrews have understood for thousands of years about the story of Noah and the flood is it is a model for how to conduct your family's affairs if you find yourself in a time of cultural decline, which I fully believe that moral decline is quickly followed by economic decline. I think we can see that over and over in world history. And not everyone would maybe agree with me on that, but I think there's certainly a pattern. So that story says, one of the big stories in this is, again, Rabbi Daniel Lapin's program, The Gathering Storm. It's advice for families specifically on how to include your kids in a business that you can do from home, regardless of whatever else you got going on. You need to kind of be building something together, strengthening those family bonds, growing something that can sustain a potential storm. Ideally, and this is where I kind of use my internet marketing brain and add, this is Jim's version, but it's something that you can take anywhere and you can reestablish yourself later, right? E-commerce, right? You're building something that's transportable. If for some reason I had to leave where I'm at right now, physical location, I could take my business and what I've built and the things I've accumulated, I could take it with me. So there's a lot of really cool lessons in there. I think you guys might appreciate that. But then in Josh Tolley's book, obviously he talks about, some of the challenges the families face, the stress. I think he unpacks it very well with facts and data that are inarguable. That the stress that it puts on a marriage, for example, to have mom and dad go in opposite directions at 5 a.m. and not see their kids until 9 o'clock that night. What's that doing to our family structure exactly? What are the odds of having a nice, healthy marriage after 40 years of that? And he just unpacks it and looks at the statistics. And so all the benefits of having the family under the roof, building something together, not to beat anybody up who's not doing it, but I think we can make a pretty strong case for it. It makes a lot of sense if you can start to think in that direction. And you guys are doing it. So congrats. And I love unpacking this story with you guys. But let's talk a little about this prep center you guys just mentioned. Again, part of why we're doing this episode is you guys are a sponsor. And we really appreciate that. But your story stands on its own. I'm not sharing this story because you guys have paid us a few bucks to do so. You guys are a great success story. And you're a great model example of what's possible around here. So I'm thrilled to share your story. And you guys have a prep center in a tax-free state. And I love the name that you picked for your prep center too. So let's talk through that a little bit.
Absolutely. We believe in being simple and direct. So tax-free prep is what we decided to name it. In the state of New Hampshire, of course, everybody knows we don't have a sales tax, nor an income tax, or a death tax for that matter. So we've got a lot.
The libertarian in me is very excited to hear those things all together.
Absolutely. So, right now with the economy, obviously a huge challenge with a lot of sellers is how to deal with inflation. A lot of businesses we know, people we talk to are looking to cut cost. And so we figure, since we're in this great, wonderful state, we could actually help the community by having a prep center that will allow folks to be able to cut costs, their sales tax when they're doing online arbitrage in particular. And so that's obviously a huge strength. We're family, as we say, we're family owned and operated. We bought a rather large house, and our warehouse is right where we live. So we're right here, and we want to be able to offer, personalized service to our clients. So we're going to remain small because we want to be able to offer a premium service to folks out there who really want to know their products are being handled carefully while at the same time saving money doing so.
Yeah, so you're picky about who it is you're going to be working with. It sounds like you've done your homework a little bit. And let me put the benefit of being in a tax-free state into my own words and see if I'm hitting this right. Because there are a few of you out there, but the benefit of working with a tax-free prep center is the fact that if you're shopping online and you don't want the boxes showing up on your porch, well, you can send it to tax-free prep in New Hampshire, and you're not paying any sales tax now. They are the delivery address. So that saves you instantly whatever your sales tax would be right off the top. Bang. And a lot of times you can think of it this way. Hey, I'm paying for my prep just by using a prep center that's in a tax-free state. Now, for full disclosure, I'm pretty sure you can go back in most states. That this is true. I don't know if it's true in all states, and you can get that credit back later. Cost of goods and taxes you shouldn't have paid that you did because you shopped online. But it's a lot of work and paperwork and tracking. So you can really save yourself a lot of time and money and headache and stress. And there's several sellers in our community now that have significant businesses that never see or touch their inventory. That's everybody who lives outside of the United States. That's the case. They, and they're selling in the US. They can't ship it to wherever they live and then ship it back to the States. They just use prep centers. So for those who aren't familiar, prepcenternetwork.com is a list of all prep centers. But today, specifically, we're meeting the newly launching tax-free prep. And I'm excited to see you guys take off. And one thing I am noticing is prep centers that do a good job just explode. So I'm hoping that your phone rings a lot. You get a lot of people who are well qualified. What kind of clients are you looking for right now? You said you're going to be picky. Have you dialed in what kind of clients you guys are looking for?
We have. We're looking for people that have at least a year's worth of experience selling. And we're looking for people who can ship in about at least 500 items a month. That's pretty much it.
That's your parameters. There you go. Is there a website or somewhere people could go if they want to check out you guys a little more besides the Prep Center Network list? You guys are in there, but what's your website?
It's taxfreeprep.net.
Wow. Good domain name. Nice. Taxfreeprep.net. We'll stick that in the show notes for everybody. That's an easy one to remember. Well, was there anything else you wanted to share with everyone today? Anything else on your mind? Thank you for the encouragement. And you guys have a great story to tell. Looking forward to seeing you guys. By the time people see this, it may have already happened, but it sounds like we're going to see you guys at our event, the Proven Conference. You're going to be there, like I said, as a sponsor and a sponsor of this podcast. So thank you for that. My favorite kind of sponsors, by the way, the ones who are like totally plugged into the community and have a great success story and they start a service. So I'm rooting for you guys. We're going to fill you guys up with some clients, I have a feeling. But anything else you want to share?
No, I think we hit everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate this.
Great job. Well, see you in a few days, Scott. And it sounds like you're bringing a couple of kids with you, you said?
Yes, my three boys.
Outstanding. Bringing the workforce. All right, man. Well, we'll see you in Louisville. And thank you. And for the listeners who watched today, seriously, this was a shorter episode, but time very well spent with some great people from our community who've built an incredible business. And I honestly didn't realize the size of their business before we started talking. We'd never talked about all this before. So I'm thrilled to have these guys in the community. Yet another great success story. And they're launching a much needed service, prep centers, from people who know what they're doing. They're doing the business. They know how to do the prep. So reach out to them, taxfreeprep.net. If you don't want the boxes on your shelf, on your front porch, you want someone else to handle that part of your business. These guys can help. All right, Scott and Wendy, pleasure to meet you guys. Scott, see you in a few days, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take care.
Right. God bless you guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you.
God bless.